Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and on this channel I share my love of all things paper crafting. And today we have to make a piece of ephemera to send to my swap partner for the month of April. Now, just for all the newbies that are here that have very kindly subscribe to my channel. Thank you, first of all, for doing that. But secondly, just so you quickly understand what this is all about, I'm part of an Australian craft group, and there are a few junk journalers in this group. So last year and again this year, we get assigned a specific person and we have to make specific items, send it to them, and they put it into an A5 journal that they have made for themselves. So at the end of the year, you end up with a beautifully decorated journal from things made from people all around the country. So this is my journal that I am working in this year. I've gone with a nautical theme. Last year I did botanical. If you would like to see any of the videos that relate to this, I have created a playlist. It's called Creative Collab Journal. It's full of journal making things and lots of great ephemera ideas if you would like to go and take a look. Now, the lady I am making for this month has decided to do a nature journal. So that's the theme we are running with. Now, the first thing we're going to do is... our inspiration was to use index cards to make a little mini notebook. And the original video we were given as our reference was from Kathy's Garden. And she used the more traditional, you know, the larger size index cards you can get. I have some of those, but I cannot find them anywhere. So I've decided to alter this a little bit. I found a pack of these little mini ones, and I've decided to roll with that because we are making an A5 size journal. I like the idea of our little notebook being a bit bigger than just half of the normal index card folded over. So we're going to have a go at making a cute little notebook. It would be a fun little gift idea if you have some crafty friends. And let's just see where we end up with this. So the first thing we're going to do is, obviously, index cards are not the most exciting thing you've ever seen. We need to cover them up. So what we're going to do, just grabbing my little little scrap magazine here, which I always use for gluing things. And then, of course, eventually they do end up in recycle bin, all covered in glue, but I give them a second life for a while first. And all I'm doing is simply gluing down one side for the moment, giving it a really good cover. And we're going to glue this down and try and get it relatively straight without getting too paranoid. And then pressing down nicely on that. And we're going to do exactly the same for the other side. It doesn't matter which side you use. Obviously, we're not going to see any of the index cards, but they're sort of a nice sort of quality cardstock. I think they'll make quite a good little cover. And then we are going to pop this down. And as you can see, I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. And that is to allow for putting in some papers and having a bit of room for them. And then we'll just nicely press that down. Pop the lid on this for the moment. And then we're going to quickly trim this off. Get rid of that. And then trim around the edges. So we're not going to fold things over and make like a formal book. This is just a fun, quick, easy project using up some of those book pages or music pages or magazines or whatever you've got lying around. Of course, if you don't have index cards, you can simply cut up some cardstock and do exactly the same thing. Or, of course, use some packaging. Old packaging would be perfect for this. But I sort of got onto this plan of using index cards, so I've stuck with it. But you could use anything to do this, because whatever you do use is going to be completely hidden by the time we're finished. There we go. No, haven't quite got that neat enough. There we go. Done. Right. Okay. Now we're going to grab another piece of music page, and we're going to take this one that we've glued down, and we're going to smother it in glue and pop it down on here. So let me just flip this round just so this delicate music paper doesn't sit in old glue, because then it may very well tear. That's why I like using these big junk mail advertising things we've got as a glue mat, because they're nice and big. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is flip this over and, oh yes, make sure of course we have it the right way up, and we're just going to adhere this down. So now we've completely covered our index cards with music paper. And you'd never even know there's index cards hidden underneath here. But they're a great place to start. So we'll just trim all this off. I will keep those scraps. There's no way in the world we're going to throw those in the bin. You never know when you need a little bit of music paper. So I hope you are all well. It is very wet and grey here on the Sunshine Coast. Sometimes there's not much sun around here, like today. It's absolutely been pouring. I had to drive home from Sunshine Plaza in this horrific weather, but that's okay. Now, let's have a look. All right, I think what we're going to do, we might use this as the outside cover, and, whoops, and we'll have that on the inside, because the reason being, this little spine here where I've joined them and there's a gap is not going to be very strong. So I think we really need to strengthen it. So what I did, I grabbed an old dictionary page, cut it in half and glued it together, and now I'm just going to tear the edges here so it's a bit wild and woolly looking. Again, we're not measuring anything here. There's no need. All I want to do is create something, and it's got to be long enough to go down the full edge. And then I'll tear that off up there too. There we go. And then we can cut off what we don't need. And so now I'm just going to add some glue to this over here. Excellent. So down we go. The only thing I want to make sure I'm doing is actually covering up that little gap in the spine. It's just going to give this some strength. There we go. Now we can just trim that off. Fabulous. Now I think, why don't we round the corners of our little book cover here. Oh, now as you can see, I need to just gently trim this edge. It's not quite as neat as it should be. There we go. And this needs to dry a little bit, so I think we might ink our edge and let it dry for a few minutes. So we'll do both sides. So what I'll do in a minute, I'll just fast forward over this bit. I think we all know how to ink an edge, and when I'm done, I will be back. Okay, so we are done. I have inked both sides. Just let that dry a tiny bit. Now we just want to put a little bit of decoration on the cover, of course. So I have fussy cut some pretty flowers. This is from a kit that I got from Ink and Page on Instagram. If you sign up for her newsletter, she sends you all sorts of pretty things. So what I've done, I'm using this kit for both of the things I have to make for this lady. So they sort of match, but not completely. So I don't think you have access to this kit anymore. Usually you get about a week, I think, in the newsletter to download whatever little freebie she has on offer. This was actually a little mini kit. It is delightful. So she is definitely worth following. Her kits are beautiful, and every week she releases 1 or 2 new things, and they're always 50% off. So you want to be on her newsletter list. Can you hear the rain? I don't know if it's picking it up. It's getting darker and wetter here by the minute. I'm just very gently inking these edges. Don't need to overdo it. I just thought, because these are quite pale, a little bit of contrast would be good. Oh my gosh, it's getting wetter and wetter and wetter. Oh dearie lordy me, never mind. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue these on. This is a really, really simple project, perfect beginner's project. If you have never made anything like this, this would be a really good place to start. So I'm just using my glue stick to glue these down. Now let's have a look. I think something along those lines will sort of take that right to the edge. This will fold over. Oh no, oh, it's very close to the edge, but that's fine. And I've got this other little flower, which we might just sort of put here. I've also fussy cut a tiny little butterfly. I think this was from a freebie. Oh, who was it from? Oh, I can't remember, but I know I've had it forever. So we might just add the cute little butterfly right up the top there. And I've also just cut out a tiny little label. Have no idea. I've bought so many label kits. I don't know where this one's from either. Sorry. Because I just print them all out and I have sheets of them. Thought that might look cute. And then for one last bit of decoration, I fussy cut this whale tab, and this was actually from a piece of cardstock in my stash. It is not matching this, but by gosh, it comes close. So I thought this would be fun. Now what I'm going to do, I actually like to cut these in half, and then I'm going to put a little tab, but I like to put them on this way round instead of the traditional folding them in half. We'll use my tiger glue. Actually, I can do that on here, because what we want to do is we just want to put glue down on the lower part. Now, I can't find my tweezers. If you could just see the state of my desk, you would understand. Because I've got a couple of projects on the go here at the moment that I am working on. And then we flip this over, and now we add glue to the whole lot, and some down here, and then we add the other part of the tab. I think they look so much prettier done like that. There we go. Very simple. It doesn't have to be a whale tail shape. It can be any shape. You can just hand cut out a little tab arrangement. And there we go. I think that's enough for that cover. There's really no room for anything else. Now, this works out at about 15 centimetres by 13 point something. Hang on, let's have a look. 15 and a half centimetres. So that is just over 6 inches. And it is just under 13 centimetres, or about just over 5 inches. So to keep things really simple, I grabbed a sheet of A4 paper that I had coffee dyed, and I just cut it into 4 pieces. That is going to become the pages for our little notebook. So let's just shimmy that out of the way just for a moment. Then we're going to fold these over pretty much sort of evenly. Yes, even and I are not the best of friends, so that's okay. So these are probably technically a tiny bit short, but really it doesn't matter. And what we're going to do, I think I might grab a couple of clips actually. I think that might be the best thing to hold these in place. And of course I've got 2 clips here and they've got caught up with each other. So let's just gently fold this over so we know where our crease is, and then we sit our pages right in the crease, and then we'll just clip them down for the moment just to hold them roughly in place. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to flip this over, might just fold that once more just so I can clearly see where the divide is. And then we're just going to grab a stapler and a piece of, this is just a piece of paper towel that I have folded up. And the reason being, you don't need a long arm stapler to do all these things. Simply open up your stapler, line it up where you want to go. Just trying to make sure this is relatively straight. I mean, I know I can be a bit bodgy. And another one, just a bit further down. Keeping in mind, we don't want it too close to the edge because of the fact the papers are a bit shorter than the book. Okay, now you'll see they're sticking out a bit, but that's okay. They have gone slightly through the paper, but that's all right. You just gently pick that away, and then you grab a bone folder and you press them down. And voila, you can use any stapler that way. Remove this, fold that over again. Now, you will see these staples are an interesting colour. They are not silver. I actually always paint mine with a Sharpie pen first. And then what we're going to do, see this one is over a tiny bit, too much to the left, but that's okay. I think what we'll do is we're going to ink down the edge, and that will even hide the staples a little bit. You could, of course, grab needle and thread and sew these in, but I'm trying to show you a really quick and easy way of creating a fun little booklet. So there we go. It's very simple, and because we've added the double paper here, we've given ourselves some strength. We've got some cute little note pages in here to write in, and a tab for decoration. Now there we go. Doesn't get much easier than that. So that is my first project for my Creative Collab Journal. Don't forget to check out the playlist if you want to see some other great things. The next piece I have to make, I started filming it, but I actually made a boo-boo right at the beginning, so I've got to start that all over again. So that will be the next video. That'll be the second piece that I have to send out to my wonderful swap partner for her nature journal. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comments box below. And if you have a few seconds to spare me, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, please come and join the fun. It's totally free, and I like to help you make things easily. And this one doesn't get much easier than that. So bye for now. Stay safe and stay healthy.